Hey everyone, I am on here to talk about the recent massacre in which an 18-year-old white person intentionally opened fire on a predominantly black group of people in order to eliminate this problem that he perceived as white replacement. And what I'm here to talk about in that regard is this idea that I keep seeing all over the internet, all on my social media, all in text, all in emails from coworkers and friends alike, calling him a white supremacist. What I would like to talk about is how inaccurate and how harmful to equality and equity it is to continue to label this person as a white supremacist rather than the domestic terrorist that he is. So we already have this trope or this idea. Someone says white supremacy, and most of us think of the KKK in their white robes, burning crosses and killing people, and that's white supremacy. And white Aryan Brotherhood, that's white supremacy. No, that is extremist, that is terrorist, right? White supremacy is things like it's like this. Joe Biden publicly announced and even campaigned on the idea that if there came an opening on the United States Supreme Court, he would intentionally appoint a black woman, right? And all along, as soon as that happened, people were in an uproar, particularly when it came time for it to actually be so. And folks were like, oh, that's discriminatory. You should not be picking someone based on the color of their skin. You should be picking someone on their credentials. Now, 115, I think it was, Supreme Court justices, less than 10 of them had ever been men, had ever not been white men. And 2 of them, I believe, had been 2 black men, and the rest women and 1 Latinx woman, right? So if we're not supposed to be doing it based on the color of someone's skin, and over 100 justices have been white and male, what you're saying is the standard is white and male, and that any intention to go against that standard is discriminatory. So that means that standard is whiteness, right? That is white supremacy. White supremacy says, well, we've only had all white men. Deterring from that is racist. That's white supremacy. It says that if you go out and try to find something different than the standard that we are used to, which is white men, then you're discriminating, and you're going against our standard, which is whiteness. That's white supremacy. White supremacy is the idea that 2 people caught with possession of the same amount of a substance, of an unlawful substance, 1 white, 1 black, the white man, first of all, more likely not to get caught, less likely to even get caught with it. But even if they both do, the black man will receive a much harsher sentence. That is just facts. I'm not making this up. It's on the United States Department of Justice website, all of those things. That is white supremacy, because it gives compassion and understanding and less punitive response to what white people do than when black people do the same thing. Saying all that to say, y'all keep calling this Buffalo shooter a white supremacist, and I'm here to tell you that you are furthering the cause of white supremacy by bundling what he did into, or grouping what he did into white supremacy. No, because What he did was committed an act of domestic terror. He is a domestic terrorist. That's what he is. He is a domestic terrorist acting out of the fear of this lie that white people are being replaced with black people, that black people are replacing white people in this America, and that fueled his fear, and therefore he needed to eliminate us. That's domestic terrorism that got its starting place at even his birth in our everyday lives at white supremacy, but it is certainly not him just being a white supremacist. And when you call him that, you take away from this notion of everyday white supremacy that is elevating whiteness and marginalizing blackness in anything in between that's non-white. You're making that just normal. It's just American that more black people are, that blackness is criminalized. It's just American that police shoot unarmed black people in crazy disproportionate amounts to unarmed white and poor people. It's just making it normal. It's normalizing standards like, well, if you just, I live in a good neighborhood, that black person is articulate. Oh, that person was very well spoken. That's white supremacy to say that a black person is well spoken because they speak the same as you. Because what white supremacy is whiteness as the standard. That's the default. It's the standard. And anything other than that is wrong or less than. But if any other person other than white, if at this white standard, if a black person comes eerily close to that standard in how we speak, in our accomplishments, our educational background, our neighborhood, if we come close to that, we are seen as safe. And oh, that person, she was so well spoken. I get that all the time. You're so well spoken, and oh, you have such great manners and all of that. That's white supremacy, because what that says is I'm not supposed to behave that way because I'm not white, and so when I do, it has to be talked about. That's white supremacy. So stop calling this domestic terrorist a white supremacist, because you're furthering the cause of white supremacy and taking away from the everyday run-of-the-mill notion of white supremacy. That's all.